For the question.
I'm waiting.
You waiting up? All right. All righty. All right, Mr. Eddie Brumfield. The first question I want to ask you is, and I want to start off basically about your childhood.
All right.
Okay, and my first question is like, what was life for you like as a child? Like tell me about your parents, brothers, sisters.
Well, you see, what happened with me, let me tell you, because you wouldn't want to hear when I was really a child.
Okay.
See, my second oldest brother was in an accident. He got killed when he was 12 years old. He was 12 and I was 10. My oldest brother was 14. So that made my older brother, when he got old enough to go out, he was afraid of darkness. So he asked Mama to let me go with him because I wasn't scared of darkness. And that made me start out early. I used to lay around the roads up there. We played checkers and the guys would be gambling on the lane there looking at them, you see. And he was going with them girls and things. We would walk, you talking about walking, maybe about 5 miles from our house to church. Now we could, when the girls live on the other side of the church, we'd go walk home with them and then walk all the way back home. Man, stifling all across the road. Sleep. Get home around 12 o'clock. But Daddy never said nothing. All he said, when I get ready to get up in the morning, go to work, I don't care what time y'all come here.
Right.
Be ready to go. Get ready to go to work in the morning.
Right. Tell me about your parents.
My parents?
Yeah.
Well, my mama and dad, my mama, I'm going to tell you the fact. I never heard my mother use as much as S or D or nothing in my life. She would say behind and things like that, but my daddy would do anything.
Okay.
It didn't make no difference to him what he said and where he said that.
Right.
And who he said to. But my mother was altogether different.
Right.
They used to, up there in the country there, they used to like, 4th of July, they'd have what they call a picnic out there. My daddy and his nephew, they'd come there and break the picnic up and take the stuff and go eat it. What they wanted, and, you know, let's do any kind of thing.
Right. Tell me about your grandparents.
Well, my grandfather, my mother's daddy, he was born during the slavery. Of course, both dads were not born during the slavery. But I went around my mother's daddy because they used to have a dinner once a year around his house. You know, invite everybody.
Big reunion
have a
kind
big
of
long table, maybe a half a block long, and all kind of food. Everybody bring a plate. And they have that dinner every year at his house. At my grandpa, my mama's daddy.
And his name?
Jack Galley.
Okay.
But my daddy's daddy, see, my daddy was an outside child, and that made him didn't be around his daddy too much. But I tell you what, in 1923, my daddy's daddy and another white man out there, the only 2 people that had an automobile. At that time, they was having them old cars like Hudson.
Right.
And Studebakers and things like that. That's the kind of car they was having.
Yeah. Okay. So your daddy's daddy was he had money. He
had money. Yeah, he had money. See, to my understanding, when they freed them, they give them land and money. That's what I was told.
Right. Tell me about schooling. How important was school when you was coming up?
Well, see, listen, let me explain this to you. See, I wasn't able to start the school when I was about 7 or maybe 8 years old because I had so far to walk. See, I couldn't walk that long distance.
Okay.
And when we did start the school, we used them books that the white folks had to use. No back on them. Nothing in them that made sense. Baby Ray, Little Boy Blue, Loose a Locket, Lost a Pocket, Hit It, Fish, You Found It. See, all them kind of, that's like, now Baby Ray was, that was the primer. First grade was Little Boy Blue. In the 3rd grade was Loose a Locket. When we got up to around the 4th grade, then we getting the pen and armor and thing like that. But see, then when I got to 5th grade, they pulled me out of school. My daddy got sick, and wasn't nobody to bring no kind of money in, and so they put me to work for $2 a week. $2 a week and 3 meals a day.
Okay. Tell me about church.
Church. Mama always did make us go to church. Now, she would get up every Sunday, and I had to go to church with her.
Okay.
Every Sunday.
Okay.
And I mean that's up until I left home. And when I first left home, I went to a little place called Crowley, Mississippi. I was maybe 21 then. But I still felt like I was a child. I never thought I was grown. One church in that little town, and that was a Methodist church. So I went and joined that.
Okay.
And it said, this the young folks choir. I got in the choir with them. Because I still felt like I was a child.
Right.
So we went home. The one day, the deacon and I was working on the lumber yard together. He said, Brumfield, said, you ought to come go out with us some Saturday nights. I said, what y'all Saturday nights? I said, where y'all go? He said, we go to Woodville. Woodville was about 35 miles from Centerville. I said, who all? He went to call his name, and the woman that he's going out with, she was the mother of the church. And he was the deacon. I'm just telling you like it was.
Right.
I got out. Okay. I said, if I got to pay my way to hell, I'm not going. I got out of church and I stayed out until I was in my 40s.
Okay. Okay. So your mom, you going to church with your mom, was that because y'all was real close?
Yep, because we were real close. See, my mama used to sew. And she would set up late at night sewing, and I set up with her to thread a needle for her, because, you know, her eyes wasn't as good as mine. Right. See, when that thread break was out of grabbing, doing that, she went at the farmer with it. And then when she get finished sewing, a lot of times she get up and pick some tea cake. And that was just up my sleeve.
Right. Okay.
That made me real close, you see.
Yeah. Alrighty. Tell me about, as a child, do you remember what you wanted to be?
No.
No? Okay.
I didn't have no idea. Nothing but a bad boy.
What you was doing, huh?
I was bad, man. I was bad. People didn't want me around.
Right. The house you lived in, describe your house.
Well, see, we used to, let me explain that to you. My daddy used to move somewhere about every 2 years. He moved from house to house, from this person's place to that person's place. Now, they would have, see, Uncle Gene, Cal Raven, and John Downs, and Joe Downs. They all had mules and wagons, but they would come and they'd load the wagon up and help us move from place to place.
Really?
You can see it look like them cowboys.
Like the wagon.
That's where Brumfield moving.
Okay. And you say he moved every 2 years?
Oh, I mean,
like real frequently though.
Yeah, he moved plenty. Yeah.
Yes,
indeed. We stayed all over around Mississippi.
Is that right?
Around that neighborhood, you know.
Yeah. Okay. What chores did you have around the house? What kind of jobs did you have to do around, growing up?
Whatever to be did.
Whatever.
See, when I was a small child, we used to have to pull vines and grass and things for the hogs. See, Mom and them was up there in the field, be up in the field working. See, Thad was a baby. He was, I guess, I don't know, maybe a couple of months old, maybe.
Okay.
And me and my brother just older than me, we was tending to him. And Mama called for him to come bring some water. And Thad was laying on the table right there by the door. A little old baby, but he got to jumping around and fell off that table and rolled down them steps all the way to the ground. I guess the house was that high.
Wow.
So he kept on, with crying and going on. So it was a lady that used to visit my mama all the time. She was holding him, and she got to rubbing his back. Said, "This boy, his back broke."
Mm.
Then she went to question, and my brother told her what happened. So that was it. Thad didn't walk till he was about 4 years old.
Wow. Okay. Wow. How did y'all amuse yourselves? How did y'all have fun as a child? What kind of games did y'all play? And
when I was real young, they used to play ball, but I never could play no. I never was a ball player.
Okay.
I was pigtail. I'll be behind and catch it, throw the ball back in the
that's it. Okay.
And they used to play volleyball and play. See, up there, they played baseball and volleyball. It was a very little basketball. There was no football playing up there at that time.
Okay. Did y'all ever go do fishing and things like that?
Oh yeah, we used to go fishing all the time. Now, used to be an elder guy, used to take us fishing. We go out there to the creek. Excuse me. We muddied the creek, and that made the fishing come to the top.
Okay.
They couldn't stand that mud. So they come to the top, we catch them, and like that. And then it would snow occasionally. And when it snowed, this particular guy would take us, we go tracking rabbits. See, by the snow being on the ground, you can track a rabbit right to his bed, you see.
Okay.
We go, well, man, we used to have some fun. I thought more of him than did my daddy, because my daddy never took him nowhere. But this guy used to take us hunting, take us fishing, take us to learn how to swim, and all that kind of stuff.
You don't remember his name, do you?
Yeah, his name was John Williams.
John Williams. Okay. How did your parents make a living? What kind of jobs do they have?
We living on the farm, so I don't know you familiar with a farm, but see, on the farm, they started the farm around February. They started breaking the ground and planting in March, and cotton and corn or whatever they want, and long about last of June, what they call laying it by, everything be grown up enough to finish to lay it by. And about last of August or 1st of September, they started picking cotton and gathering the crop. Like gathering the corn and making molasses and killing hogs and all that kind of stuff. And that would last from September to October, maybe about 6 weeks or something like that. Then maybe 7 weeks gathering,
let me ask this question. Did they make money per se, or did y'all just live off of what y'all did on the farm?
That's right. See, my daddy, he used to, when it come time to farm, he would get everything set up for us. He'd get him a public job. Driving oxen or driving mule, because he was good on driving mules, see. Long they was hauling like logs or cross ties or pump wood and stuff like that. And he would get a job hauling that, driving them oxen. Right. When we during farming time. But when the farming got over, he quit that job. And when we got my spread together, he'd get him another job. See, I said he was lazy. That's what I said. Because he didn't believe in working in that farm. He could tell. He was a good farmer. He knew how to do everything. He would show us, set up everything for us, and let us get started. Let me tell you this. See, my sister, my second youngest sister, she used to do the plowing all the time. Because I was too young when they first started. So I got up there about 13, maybe 14. So my dad, I guess he figured it's time, to break me in plowing. So I'm plowing along there. I don't want to plow because I figured she ought to do the plowing. Instead, see, when the cotton come up, they would take a harrow, and they call side harrow. That means cut it down, leave the row about that wide. And then when you go get the grass out of the cotton with the hoe, you ain't got no big job, you see.
Okay,
But if it be wide like that, you got a big job.
Right.
And I was just letting the plow roll. All up, my daddy walked up behind me, man, and knocked me down.
Okay.
He ain't said a word. He knocked me down and walked off. He ain't had to tell me no more. And then, I guess I was 30 years old before they got on me. Every time I go to do something wrong, I would think about what my daddy did.
Right, right. What were your memories? Well, no, I asked you that. What experience did you have with white people as a child?
Well, I used to be around white folks by going up to the grocery, playing checkers and playing cards and things. See, they had a little grocery there. When we didn't have nothing else to do, we didn't have nothing to do but lay around that grocery and play checkers. And I used to be around there. They had that one on the place where you started seeing a slot machine. They had a slot machine up in there. And if that slot machine go to paying off, the man would turn it to the wall and say it broke. Until the man come out there and he fix it where it wouldn't pay off. Now that slot, that one-arm bandits, they had 3 pots. People talking about he ain't hitting no jackpot, he just hit a pot. He got one pot for the people to win, one pot that you ain't gonna get nothing out of, and another pot. I mean, in the way the one-arm bandit is built.
Right.
And I used to sit there and look at him all the time when he come there to fix it.
Right.
And he would come there and fix it, then let the people go back and play. And if the man done fix it, y'all can play it now.
Yeah, right. So as long as nobody was winning, it was fixed.
But yeah, if it get to winning too much, it broke. That's what he said. You don't want to play on too much.
Right. Okay. At what age did you believe it was time for you to leave home?
Well, I tried to leave home when I was about 16 years old. Me and my brother, my cousin, we gonna go out there and catch a train and go up in the Delta. We heard about the Delta. I don't even been over there going in there. We went out there to Magnolia, standing around there waiting till the freight train come by, and 2 police come by and said, what y'all doing out here? I don't know what we told him now, but why y'all stay there? We told him, go home. He said, I ain't gonna shoot you, just gonna shoot at you. Boy, we left there. It's about 10 miles where we had to go.
Okay.
But we went it.
Okay.
But a little later on, I think I must have been about 17. Another guy, Luther McKinnon, I think I showed him the always up there. Yeah. He and I went up in the Delta. We the whole one going up in the Delta. And on that train, we catch the YMB. The train, going around them hills and things, that made it had to go slow. Now, I remember jumping off of that freight train, running out in them people's potato patch, digging up a potato to eat and come back and catch the same train. I didn't catch the same car now, but I catch the same train because it was long. And at the same time, I've seen white women on that train hustling with their baby. And we got into not Vicksburg. Got into Vicksburg that night. Sometime that night, man, you ought to see the people around there had a great big fire, and we standing around there. Where you going? I'm going this place. I'm going to that place. So we caught up the train in Vicksburg and went on up to a place called Tribune, Mississippi, to the Delta. But we got up there, it wasn't like we thought it was. And we stayed up there about 3 days. They ain't making no money picking no cotton. That's all it was. They farming up there, picking a lot of cotton. In the Delta part, they used to raise most of the cotton. Right. And we decided to come back home. Now, this guy's brother, he was up there, him and another guy were together, but me and this particular guy were together. When we got back to Jackson that night, we had a swap train. Now, instead of us waiting till the next morning to try to catch a train, ain't never been to Jackson before. we ain't got time. We gonna catch a train out that night. And I just imagine we must have blundered up in the white folks' neighborhood. Two police and pulled up there. Where y'all going? Who y'all? When I went to talk, he hit me in the mouth and said, shut up. One of y'all talk at the time. And that Negro lied like a broom. Where y'all from? We from Hazlehurst. Hazlehurst? Said, who farm you live on? You live on there. They couldn't tell it.
Right.
And I don't know, we just moved up there. Just moved up. What about up there? Well, see, they can tell you lying because you can't tell them.
Right.
But you know, they ain't letting me talk. So the next morning, went before the judge.
So they arrested you?
Yeah, they went before the judge.
Okay.
Went before the judge. And when they went to question me, I told them where I was from and everything. But the thing of it, I was telling one story and he was telling another, and we were together. But see, along that time, that was during the Depression when things were really wrong, when people were stealing and doing everything to try to find something to eat.
Right.
So they didn't know which one to believe. So if I tell you, we gonna put y'all on the chain gang 30 days. Now the chain gang, they had, you locked around this feet and locked around that feet, and your 2 feet locked together, and you pulling, had a long chain about this long with a heavy ball on it. And they had to carry that ball. See what you had to do, take that ball and bring it up to you, make a couple steps, then bring it up to you again. But they had us on the road, on the street, working on the street with a shovel. Now, you could take the shovel and see they have, you know, rowing machine like they have now, what they do it by hand. You could take the shovel and dig, but he said, don't throw that dirt, walk it. You know what I mean? You can stand here and throw it to her. Right. Don't throw it, walk it. And then you dig, you walk over there and put that down and come back and get some more. Anything to punish you, you know.
Wow.
So you come to the evening, question me again. See, other words, the other two guys, when they went home, they told our dad that we got lost in Jackson. We got left in Jackson. Okay. And so the chief of police in Macomb know the people out there. You know, people know everybody up there in Mississippi like that. Okay. And they went to him and told him about it, and he called up there and told them to release us. The chief of police in Macomb. When they turned us loose that night, he says, we're going to let y'all go, so you're going to do y'all rest of your time in Macomb. And you talking about praying? That's when I started to pray. So when come on Macomb, my dad and them was at the train.
Okay.
See, his dad had an automobile, but my dad didn't have an automobile. And he brought us on home.
Wow. Wow. So what was it that what was it that caused you to want to leave home? Was it just things was just bad at the time and
things was bad. You see, I used to be on my brother. He was much older than me. I made him 4 years older than me. I said, "What you staying here for, man? I said, you ain't doing nothing here." Okay. But see, I got a little job working on the railroad. We making 15 cents an hour, 10 hours a day. That's $1.50 a day. And we would work 5 days a week. Saturday didn't mean there wasn't no overtime, nothing like that. Just 5 days, and because we have 1 day off. Okay. You know, somebody. In other words, the game was a 9-man game, but they had 10 men, and that made somebody had to be off every day. Okay. And we worked. But see, I call myself smart. Other word, on the railroad track, what they do, they put them tires under the railroad. Other word, the rotten tires, pull them out and put good tires in the place. Okay. Then they got to spike them. You know what they is spike? You know what that is? Nail them down, spike it. But somebody have to have a bar and hold that tire up to the rail so they can put it and make it tight. Okay. Well, they had one light bar and a couple of heavy bars. But see, I'm watching the light bar.